Hey guys, it's Allan Whatmore here, and in today's video, I want to talk specifically about how you can overcome fear when it comes to working with prospects, and even potentially how to overcome fear yourself. So, I'm going to explain just a couple of different concepts that you can apply in your daily life when having conversations, and how to not see fear that prospects have as a barrier for them being able to take action, but as a way that you can further help them navigate them through being able to actually genuinely get to their goals. So, here at the very top, typically, based on my experience or what I've seen in others, usually there's two reasons that people are in fear. And so, for context, if you have done your job where you've gone through the product, the prospect understands the product, they see the value in it, they have the funds available, and they genuinely want to get to their goal, but they're just in a little bit of fear. Okay, they're a little bit nervous. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Usually, the first reason why is because they've had a bad past experience, right? So let's say, for example, you're a financial advice business and you've spoken with someone who's potentially maybe worked with an advisor in the past, or they've spoken to somebody and that person asked them or had a particular strategy or had an experience with them that it just didn't work out. Okay, or maybe they invested in something in the past. Let's say if you're a buyer's agent, maybe the prospect is a property investor and they purchased a property, but that property just didn't do what it was initially promised to at the start, right? So what you want to do is, in this instance, you want to find out exactly like where it went wrong. So what happened in the past? Like, go in with a lot of empathy. Like, if you know that for a fact that they've had a bad past experience, they might have told you earlier in the conversation that they've spoken to people in the past or they've explored this in the past. And so that's just something to keep in mind, like what actually happened, and asking them to take you through the process and understand in intricate detail, like exactly what happened with that process. You know, did the person take the time to actually understand their situation? You know, did they have the experience that you have? Did they genuinely understand and aligned what the solution was with what their goals were? Did they give you the support that you needed? Was their advice in your best interest if you're a financial advisor, which it has to be, but genuinely was the advice that they gave able to get people to the outcome? So the challenge why many people struggle with fear, okay, and it is the biggest killer of dreams, is because fear itself is an emotion. Okay, it's not a logical decision. You might present the person with the best possible solution and you know it's in their best interest and you know that they should do it. But it's like, I know, it's like being at the top of a burning building and the building's on fire and you know the person's got to jump. And they've got two options. One is to sit there and be burned to death, or is to make the actual jump. And so you want to convert something that is emotional, but making it logical so that the prospect themselves can see for themselves that this is the right decision for them to do. So hopefully that makes sense. The other form is, which is common, is that they've never invested in the past. So maybe if you're a financial advisor, the person's just never, and you're working with a prospect, they've just never had a financial advisor in the past. Or that might be that they've been with an industry super fund all their life and they've just never changed funds, even though the fund that they're in isn't in their best interest. So then what you want to understand is you want to show a lot of empathy, you know, like ask them, have they ever made a decision like this in the past? Have they ever worked with a financial advisor? And they're going to say no, most likely. And I can imagine it's probably a little bit nerve-wracking, right? It's a little bit scary, you know, show them a lot of empathy. And then what you want to do is give them some perspective. Like realistically in this instance and in this instance, what works really well is the concept of using like reframes or analogies. And that just gives people the ability to be able to see that, you know, it's similar to like something else, right? Like for example, let's say you're wanting to improve your wealth, right? You wanted to build more wealth for retirement. Part of that strategy might be you need to contribute to more super. You need to be in a better fund. So it's a bit like riding a bike. You know, at the start, maybe like it might take a bit of getting used to, but you know, eventually you get it. And then once you get it, you're flying, and then you realize, well, I should have done this ages ago. Or you might have like some other form of better reframe or analogy. So this is just getting people to the point so that they can, in their language, so that they can see that this is in their best interests. So the reason why I say to you is that if you know that you can genuinely help a prospect and get them to a better position and get them to their goals, is that just don't give up. Like, don't give up. If you know in your heart of hearts, if you've done all the right things, you've shown them the product, they understand it, they see the value, they know it's something they want, and they've told you explicitly that they want, most likely the issue is here, that they're just in a little bit of fear. So hopefully that gives you context, right? Maybe you're in a position yourself where, you've wanted to grow your business and scale it up, and you've seen all people around you do certain things, and you're like, I want to grow and scale my business as well. But it's probably something that you just haven't done before. Or it might be something that you've tried in the past, but it just hasn't worked out that well. So what I say is that just for yourself is just ask yourself these questions, where based on the past experience, did the firm I work with, what exactly happened? Like, where possibly did it go wrong? Did they take the time to understand my situation? Did they help me get towards my goals? Did they give me the support that I needed? Did they have experience in the industry? Or if you've never done it in the past, just think, okay, you know what? And this is probably a really good example, if I can give you, right? Let's say, for example, you're here, right? Let's say, for example, you want to get to your goals, right? This is where you are right now. And this is where you want to be, okay? Your future self, successful business owner, CEO that is doing XK per month and having the lifestyle that you want, okay? And you know that in order to get there, there's a certain number of steps that you need to do. But all these here are question marks that you've got, right? Based on either your previous experience or things that you just haven't done in the past. If you look at how this is situated, right, you have two things, right? You've got time, okay? The time it takes in order to get there, and then you have your inputs, which is your improvements. Even if it takes you a little bit longer to get there, okay, let's say it's like, instead of like that, it's like that, okay, takes you a little bit longer, but you still get there, it still keeps going up in terms of time. The question is that worth it for you? One thing is that getting there in a particular time, but if you knew it might just take you a little bit of extra time, but if you did put the work in and you put the inputs in and you leverage time, that eventually you would get there. That's what I want you to think about. Hopefully that makes sense. If you would like to see a system that, particularly for you and your business, to support you in getting to your goals with a firm that takes all of these things that I mentioned to you into account and genuinely is interested and invested in you, then there should be a link to book in a time, but you don't have to. Otherwise, I hope this has provided you with a lot of context and will help you in your conversations with prospects. My name is Allan Whatmore. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll speak to you soon.